Hi folks, how are you doing today? So today we are in Breaston in Derbyshire. We're going to walk to Church Wilne, down to the Trent and Mersey Canal, then over to the mouth of the Derwent River, over to the River Trent, and then we'll follow it up to Sawley Marina, into Sawley, and then we'll head back to Breaston. It's a shorter route than usual. It's about 6.5 miles today. So, as usual, let's get cracking. The village is centred around the church, where we're starting from today, which is St Michael's, built in the 11th century but expanded in the 14th and 15th century. Robert Evans, a local architect, remodelled the church in 1899. The Evans family are renowned for designing some of the grandest buildings in Nottingham and Derbyshire, including Nottingham's Victoria Club, Nottingham High School, Melbourne Catholic Church in Derbyshire. Breaston has 3 pubs, the Checkers Inn opposite the church, plus the Bull's Head just slightly down the road, and the Navigation Inn, all of which have kept the same names for over 150 years. The village green is believed to be one of the largest in the country, with May Day celebrations taking part there. The actress Molly Windsor lives in Breaston, who used to be a student at Friesen School in Sandyacre, not that far away, the same school where I teach outdoor education. If you look at the church, it's the right hand side. Take the little red lane there and they'll take us down here. We are heading to Church Wilne. Along the way, we're going to walk along the Coffins Walk. Before the graveyard was able to use at Breaston Church, they used to have to carry the coffins from Breaston to Church Wilne. So this is the route they used to carry them. It's just starting to spot the rain. Lovely. Hopefully it's going to be an enjoyable walk. So we've just walked about 300 metres, each field being about 100 metres long, and we've come over 3 different sets of styles. This one you've got the traditional style, we've also got Kitchen Gate, so choice is yours. I do believe get to the Coffin Stone, there are a series of styles that you have to cross over a short amount of time. We're just going to cross over the rail bridge. So looking back at Breaston, as we can see the church. So we just arrived at Coffin Stone. This is a place that the coffin bearers used to place the coffin. The actual Coffin Walk is actually 2 miles in length, so where the coffin bearers would rest as they carried the body. A bit of a arduous journey, and this was reason because in 1824 the Breaston Church of St Andrews before then wasn't able to take coffins. They used to take it down to Church Wilne, to St Chad's, which we'll be visiting in a little while. So I'm just taking shelter while we're having a slight bit of a downpour. Now the railings here from the Victorian times, and beyond this is the Church Wilne Reservoir. It's managed by Severn Trent Water, and it's now used for wakeboarding, surf skiing, water skiing and wake skiing. So the next place we're coming to is Wilne Cross. As we walk down this track, we will be crossing in the next probably 10 to 15 metres an old Roman road. Now this Roman road, like all Roman roads, was a straight line. It went directly from Derby to the River Trent, and it was to carry lead for the Romans. Now obviously no longer existing, because I think we're about there now. Can't see any trace of an old Roman road. So Wilne Cross would have been near this stile. Now, I spoke a moment ago about the reservoir, Church Wilne Reservoir. Now, it was built in 1962 to transport 6 million gallons of water per day from the Derwent River. So we're just crossing over the Midshires Way. It's also known as the Derby Nomads Way. I used to be a member of that walking group. They had the footpath named, I think it was like 50 years they've been going, one of the longest rambling groups in the UK, and they had this footpath named after them. Draycott. The name derives from Draycott, as the village is between the River Derwent and Church Wilne. Flatlands have been known to flood in the wet, wintry weather. The village no longer floods, hence the name Draycott. The large factory we can see is known as Victoria Mill, built in 1888, although a fire in 1902 meant it was partly rebuilt in 1907. Built as a lace factory and has been named as the biggest lace factory in the world. St Chad's, built in the 13th century. A wall surrounds the church grounds due to the flooding of the surrounding area. The church originally was a significant building of worship for Breaston and nearby Draycott. Wilne means a clearing in the willows. It was originally where the village of Draycott began. Over the centuries, the village of Draycott was moved 1 mile away from the floodplain and Wilne was established as it is today. The secluded church was a small lake and a few houses. So on our right, where the cars are all coming from, St Chad's Water. And I notice on the left hand side here, on the fence, there's these emblems. Tom Spencer, Wilmot, Private King's Own Yorkshire Light Infantry, 8th Battalion. Died 13th of October 1916, aged 22. Lived at Wilne Mill Yards, Church Wilne. Leonard Wilmot, part of the same family. Private Northumberland Fusiliers, 5th Battalion, died 14th of January 1917, aged 20, lived at Wilne Mills Yard. Mary Gunn, volunteered for the Red Cross in the First World War, lived at 1 Church Wilne. Samuel Theobald, Private, Machine Gun Corps, 50th Battalion, died 23rd of March 1918, aged 22, lived at 1, 5 and 6 New Delight, Wilne Road. Charles Dunn, Company Sergeant Major for Northumberland Fusiliers, 12th and 13th Battalion. Died 27th of May 1918, aged 23, lived at 1 Church Wilne. Company Sergeant Major at age 23, that's not bad going. There's the church. I presume it was quite secluded, although I'm guessing nobody could go to worship if unless you came in a boat when it was flooded. St Chad's Water. Now, Church Wilne, a lot of the inhabitants of the village have long gone. A lot of the houses have gone due to the flooding in past times, and as I said, Draycott has been moved further north. But they do have this works here. Now, they make stuff for the military there. Not sure what they make there though. It's quite a secret place though. So we're about to cross this footbridge, and this river is the River Derwent. We're going to pass this again at the mouth, so I'll talk about it a little bit more there. So this is the River Derwent. This is the Trent and Mersey Canal. As you can see on the sign across the way, it says the Derwent Valley Heritage Way, Lady Bower Reservoir, 55 miles away. Now the actual mouth of the river is only about a few hundred metres down the canal, and actually the mouth enters the River Trent. And there's actually the Derwent Valley Heritage Way. It's actually a walk I'm aiming to do in the next 2 or 3 weeks. As it says, it's 55 miles. It starts at Lady Bower, so I'm aiming to do another walk called the Port Way, which is from not far from Nottingham, called a place called Hemlock Stone, which was passed on one of my previous walks, which I'll put a link to here, and goes all the way up to Mantor, passing all the high points throughout Derbyshire. And that's a 48-mile trek. So I'll be doing that in the next, hopefully next week or so. And then the return journey, when you get to Mantor, about 7 miles away from Mantor is Lady Bower. So it's a perfect opportunity to walk the 48 miles to Mantor, walk across to Lady Bower, and then walk the 55 miles back, and I'll come back not far from here. The Trent and Mersey Canal. The canal covers a distance of 93 miles from the Mersey River to the River Trent. It goes through 3 counties, Derbyshire, Staffordshire and Cheshire. It has 76 locks. The canal began to be constructed in 1776, and 5 years later it was complete. The canal was originally designed in 1756, but not enough interest was shown. But in 1761, Josiah Westwood from Stoke-on-Trent needed a safe way to transport his ceramic pots, the Wedgwood Company. That pushed for the canal to be built from Stoke-on-Trent to the River Mersey, and then extended further down the Trent to here. The canal connects as a major trunk to the canal network. From this canal it attaches to the Fraser Canal and then the Grand Canal that passes Birmingham, Breaston and all the way to the River Thames in London. Anyway, we're going to walk down here a little bit further and we should get to the mouth of the River Derwent. So this is the end point of the Trent and Mersey Canal, as you can see by this sign on the right hand side. So the Trent and Mersey Canal actually just amalgamates into the River Trent, which is what we see in front of us now. Now where the boat is, drifting in the middle, oh there's somebody on it, that is the River Derwent. So that's where the River Derwent finishes, and the Trent and Mersey Canal finishes here as well. And then following it round to the right, we see the River Trent. The River Trent is the 3rd longest river in the UK. It starts at Bideford Moor, Staffordshire, and winds along where it empties out to the North Sea by the Humber estuary. It is known as the boundary of the Midlands and the north of England. It stretches 185 miles and quite often floods in bad wet weather. The name Trent derives from a Romano-British word meaning strong flooding. Isaac Walters, who wrote the complete Angler book in 1653, mentions the Trent as a river with over 30 types of fish that are found in it. So our next port of call is to cross this bridge over the River Trent. It's a footbridge. I was going to get us on the wrong side of the River Trent, but hopefully we can find the footpath that gets us back onto it, the footbridge. So we've just crossed the River Trent, and now we're going to follow the course of the River Trent for about the next mile. As we approach the road to get us over the River Trent again, I just came across this. So this would appear to be like a boundary stone. Now, it isn't marked on the map, but the Leicestershire border is only at the river about 50 metres behind me. Sawley Marina became established as a leading inland marina after the Chancellery, a place where you sell boat stuff, was opened, and the highly respected narrowboat register for boat sales was created. Modern day marina started in 1962 by the Davison brothers, who started by building boats at Trent Lock just over a mile away. They constructed a slipway and boatyard for the making of narrowboats within the marina. Now the marina holds up to 400 boats at any one time. The bridge here, until the 19th century, it was the only way to cross the River Trent to reach the city of Nottingham other than Trent Bridge. As you can see there, that's the boundary for Leicestershire. And looking this way, the signpost just beyond the 30-mile sign is Derbyshire. So where I'm standing at the moment is actually no man's land over the River Trent. Seems to have a disco going off with these lights, although looking at them without the camera, they're not flashing. The transport link to the waterways and the rail line with its station makes Sawley a popular place to reside that has been established over several centuries. The marina has access to the main waterways in the area, the Trent, the Derwent and the Trent and Mersey Canal. A church has been in this area since the 8th century, and the village of Sawley has grown around the church, formerly a market town, and has the old market house still standing. Some of the inhabitants were employed in the framework knitting and cotton spinning. Well, it's been an interesting walk overall. I bumped into a lady that passed in last week's video, and also bumped into a colleague from school, Matty Brennan. So hi to Matty Brennan. I'm sure I'll bump into you again on another walk. Well, the heavens have opened again. Anyway, we're just coming into Breaston now, so we're just coming to the end of the walk. I think we've got about one more field after this, and then we've just got like a 200-metre walk along the road, and we're back at the church. So as we arrive in Breaston, I just wanted to say thank you for joining me on this walk today. It's a shorter walk than usual, but I've got some bigger walks lined up. I've got a few multi-day hikes. We'll be camping, a bit of wild camping as well. So we're going to be doing the Port Way, which is an ancient trail that goes from the Hemlock Stone to Mantor in Derbyshire, which is 48 miles. It goes along high points, and it basically covers the tracks of the old mines in the 1800s. And before, even the Romans used the Port Way. Then from there I'm going to also do a walk back, which is the Derwent Valley Heritage Way, which I spoke about earlier. So those are coming up soon. Some other walks still coming up, some day walks. So keep tuned. If you haven't subscribed, then please do. If you'd like to add a like, that would be great, and add a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you would like to, then obviously I'm Andy, the expedition hiker. And if you like, and a pigeon nearly hit me in the head, if you like hiking, backpacking and long distance walking, and also like to find out some skills and tips about the great outdoors, then please subscribe. Just getting into the urban part of Breaston, and so I'm going to say bye from now. So all we're going to do is walk onto the main road, and it's going to get a bit busy, and we'll get to the end. So like usual, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Look after yourselves, and bye hikers.